This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, Fact Check This daily. And I wrote a Substack on this particular topic over the weekend. Because I thought it was worth talking about. It's something that I have probably talked about more than any straight white man should. But nonetheless, I think it's interesting. So for those who don't know, I actually went to college on a women's basketball scholarship. I before it was a popular thing to do. I was a manager for a women's basketball team in college and worked for the team. I organized and ran a scout team, did scouting reports and stuff like that. Plus, travel with the team, handle equipment and laundry and stuff like that. So I spent all of my college career, or most of my college career, I played in college men's basketball a little bit, and then working for the team was a lot more enjoyable. And you still got a scholarship, so I had all of my schooling paid for by women's basketball. So I spent all of my college time around women's basketball programs and got to see and play against some really, really good female basketball players. LaToya Thomas at Mississippi State my freshman year was top 5 in the nation in scoring and went number 1 in the WNBA draft that year. Tan White, who also played for Mississippi State that year, 2 years later, I believe it was, she went number 2 in the WNBA draft. They both had decent professional careers. I was around women's basketball a lot. And then you see stuff like the Caitlin Clark phenomenon of this past year, or really the past 2 years, because it started 2 years ago with the NCAA tournament. And then this past year, NCAA tournament again, she graduates, the draft, and then the WNBA season. And when you look at it, like, the WNBA had its best year attendance-wise, ratings-wise, everything, like ever, literally ever. They had sold-out games left and right. There was a lot of attention being paid. But then you also had a lot of drama and controversy and other bullshit, as women are prone to. And so Caitlin Clark was named the Times Athlete of the Year for this past year. And out of that, she did an interview where she apologized for her white privilege. So I wrote a Substack about it. If you weren't aware that I write and have a Substack, it's campbellj.substack.com is where you can find that. I recommend reading this. I thought I did a pretty decent job of writing this, kind of talking about Caitlin Clark's acknowledgement of her white privilege and how the league needs to do a better job of elevating black women. A league that has basically done nothing but for the last 20 some odd years. I don't know what they started in 1996. So for the last 28 years, that's what the league has been about, is elevating black women. And literally at no point has the WNBA made any money at all. They averaged losing $10 to $12 million per year. This past season, for as wildly successful as it was, they managed to lose only $40 million. Now, I say only because before the season started, they were projected to lose somewhere to the tune of $50 million. So what happens? They get a nice new media deal, and the players' union decides to back out of their collective bargaining agreement because they want more, or they want a better share. They don't think that they're making their fair share. I'm sorry. What is the fair share that you should be making of a $40 million loss? I'm not understanding. Yeah, yes, the drama is just anti-white haters that they're mad that a white girl made their sport more popular, and that's what it boils down to. And also, this is a problem that women have in competitive sports, but in also like a lot of other things where you have women competing against other women. They have a tendency to tear each other down and stuff. And I mean, on fucking cue, this comes out. I write my Substack. On cue, we get one of the owners of a WNBA team, Sheila Johnson, the co-owner of the Washington Mystics, comes out and says that Caitlin Clark should not have been singled out by Time. All right, so this is something that I talked about in my piece that I wrote, was there's this like women's mentality that everybody, like, it's the longhouse mentality. Like, everybody has to be, the collective is greater than the individual. And no individual can rise above the whole without you. Like, you have to tear them back down. Nobody can rise above. Everybody has to be the same homogenous blob of suck. And it's something that the men's sports and men's marketing for their sports do a really good job of, is the understanding that the stars are what are the attraction. So you elevate your stars, they make more money, they do better, they draw eyeballs, but by them being successful, it elevates everybody else. Women, on the other hand, tear each other down and stay terrible. There are many examples of this. My favorite one is there was a reality show. It was a British reality show several years ago that they took a group of men and a group of women. I say British. It might have been New Zealand. They had those accents. Anyway, they took a group of men and a group of women, and they stuck them each on individual islands. The men, they went through some turmoil for the first couple weeks while everybody kind of established pecking order, figured out who was going to be the alpha, who was going to lead, who was good at what. And once they got through establishing their pecking order, then they went on to thrive. They were hunting and fishing and building shelter, completing, is that what it was? Bear Grylls, the island? I wasn't sure. I just I've seen clips of it and individual episodes and stuff over time. But like, by all accounts, once the guys figured out the pecking order, they did great. Like, they were living their best lives. The women, on the other hand, all nearly starved to death, had to be pulled off the island, never actually made it off of their initial landing spot. Like, they would venture out into the island and end up circling back to the spot that they started in. They never hunted. They couldn't get any food. The producers of the show felt so bad for them that they just like stuck a pig out there for them to kill and eat. And instead they took it in and tried to make a pet of it. And then the thing died of malnourishment because they couldn't even feed themselves, much less take care of a pig. And rather than eat the dead pig, they had a funeral for it and buried it. Every time one of the women would start to have a good idea and be like, hey, maybe we should try doing this. Hey, maybe we should try doing that. They would all the rest of them would gang up on her and tear her down and not let her have an opinion. Like, it was this amazing seeing how women tear each other down. And that's why, like, and I don't say this to be critical, but I also say this to be very critical. Like, women need to be supportive of each other. And you see all these like great, motivational posts and stuff. Women should support other women. And it's like, yes, you should, but you're not going to, because like y'all are not, it's not inbred into you to do that. Like, you are fundamentally designed to value the collective, to value the whole over the individual. And I mean, that's part of the nurturing mentality. And it's fine, but also it makes for like bad leadership and also bad competition. Yeah. They would split up and get lost. They threw away their only container for water. Like everything about the way it was fascinating. I like find the clips, find the episodes, watch watch it and see like what happened. Holy shit. But that goes back to this article and Sheila Johnson's statements. So Sheila Johnson, the billionaire co-owner of WNBA franchise Washington Mystics, has criticized Time for awarding Athlete of the Year to Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. On Tuesday, the outlet bestowed the honor on the 22-year-old after her stellar year, which she broke multiple college, WNBA, and broadcast records. However, in an interview with CNN Sports, the co-founder of BET suggested that the media should do a better job of promoting all of the league's players rather than focusing on Clark's exploits. Johnson questioned why the publication couldn't have put the whole WNBA on the cover, given the talent the league possesses. Okay. So the league as a whole doesn't possess that much talent. You have a handful of players who do, and you have your one rising star. How the fuck are they going to put the... See, this is that like woman brain rot mentality. Like, they need to put the whole league on. It can't just be about one player. This is how you end up having everybody say, okay, well, fuck the one player and fuck the whole league. We're not gonna put up with this. Like, we're not gonna deal with this dumb bullshit if this is the way y'all are gonna act. When you keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. Nobody fucking cares about your feelings, especially in sports. If you bring feelings to sports, you're weak and you're going to get bounced. Take your feelings and go the fuck on somewhere else. Like, it's the dumbest shit ever. Added Johnson, co-owner of 3 Washington sports franchises, the Capitals, the Wizards, and the WNBA's Mystics. This year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of players that came in. It's not just Caitlin Clark. It's Angel Reese as well. We have so much talent out there. Okay, it's Caitlin Clark, and that's it. The entire Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark rivalry was 100% manufactured. Everybody like ignored the fact that Angel Reese as a forward, as a post player, shot less than 40% from the field. Everybody ignored the fact that when Angel Reese was in the game, they did everything they could as a team to clear out space and make sure that she got every single rebound. Never mind that of her rebounds, just shy of half of them were her own offensive misses, just rebounding her own misses. That's like when you average 12 or 13 rebounds a game and 5 or 6 of them are literally your own misses, that's not like good rebounding stats. Also, what was really telling about Angel Reese's like amazing rebounding was when she got hurt and left and like couldn't play for the rest of the season. If you follow the statistics for her team, for the Chicago Sky, what you find is in the games that she played in and the games that she didn't play in, the team rebounding stats were exactly the same. She was not getting all of these extra rebounds. She was just getting the rebounds that were there for the team to get anyway. And as soon as she was gone, the rest of the team got those rebounds. Like, the way they would clear out and make sure that she got the rebounds to run up their numbers was fucking insane. So, like, this whole something clicked, and it's because of the draft of players that came in. It's not just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the one player that actually had a really objectively good season out of this draft class. And what you see is, if you look at their ratings, the Fever made the playoffs. And as soon as Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever go out of the playoffs and get put out, ratings fall off the table, just sharp decline. Also, Caitlin Clark was not on the Olympic roster. What happened with the Olympic ratings? They were literally the exact same this year for women's basketball as they have been for the past 4 Olympics. So all of this like big energy and excitement about the WNBA, about women's basketball, from the NCAA tournament of the last 2 years and the regular season for the WNBA up to that point, the Olympics hit and the ratings did not change from the last 4 Olympics because they didn't put their biggest star on the roster. Like, how can you not objectively look at this unless you are predisposed to failure. This league is going to fail if this is the way they're going to continue to act. But this comes straight from fucking ownership. So this is the way that they're going to continue to act. In her debut season with the Indiana Fever, Clark took home the Rookie of the Year award and was named to the All-WNBA first team, the first rookie to do so since 2008. Her maiden season also coincided with an unprecedented increase in coverage in the league, with viewership numbers consistently broken. Coincident, or it was just a coincidence, right? The her coming into the league also had an unprecedented increase in coverage. Like, people just happened to decide they liked women's basketball this year as she came into the league. It wasn't that they came to watch her, right? The league's overall attendance increased by 48% year on year to its highest levels in over 20 years. This phenomenon has been coined the Caitlin Clark effect. The side effect of Caitlin Clark's success has been an increase in commercial deals, which Johnson says may create ill will amongst Clark's counterparts. Why, if you're getting more money, would you be mad at the person who's bringing the money? Like, that's just straight fucking loser mentality. If they really want a women's league, it should be challenging and successful. If they need to have it managed and coached by men wouldn't do that stupid shit like with Angel Reese's rebounds. Correct. It's all about like trying to elevate women, except that women can't elevate each other. So you end up with shit like this. Notably, Clark reportedly agreed to an 8-year deal with Nike worth $28 million that includes a signature shoe. This has prompted criticisms from some quarters that her race has partly contributed to her commercial success, given other black stars have not received deals of the same level. Other black stars don't receive deals because they don't generate eyeballs. They're not the ones who are like, they would like to get the same kind of recognition. Okay, if you want to get the same kind of recognition, be generationally good. That's how you do that. Like, I don't know, shooting 38% from the field from under 10 feet from the basket. That's not really generationally good. I got a 16-year-old who's 6'5", 300 pounds that could probably manage 40% from 10 foot and closer. Just throwing it out there. There are other players saying, what about us? What about you? You suck. You've sucked for the last 28 years. What about you? What do you want? Throughout her college and WNBA career, Clark has been pitted on an on-court rivalry with fellow star Reese. No, she hasn't. While the rivalry has helped grow the game, it has also triggered discourse about race in the U.S. In September, the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, compared their rivalry to that of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's in the late 70s and 80s. That was an era which came to define the NBA for a period, but the narrative was one that often delineated along racial lines by pitting a black man and a white man against each other. Asked whether such comparisons could be drawn between Clark and Reese and whether it was a good thing for the league, Sheila Johnson told CNN, "I think the media has got to be very, very careful not to make this a race issue, and that's what's really important." Except that Sheila Johnson and the entire rest of the league are the ones who are making it a race issue. Nobody's making it a race issue. It's you have a generationally good player that people want to watch. She happens to be white. Oh my gosh, terrible. Like, you have garnered the interest of the nation. Don't fuck it up through bad will. She later added, "I'm concerned about the infighting and the racial innuendos going on because that's going to turn advertisers away from us." You and the rest of your league are the only ones who are creating the infighting and the racial innuendos. You are going to turn the advertisers against you all on your own. It's not coming from anywhere but within. If you wonder where the problem is, look within. Clark is aware of the preferential treatment she may have received because of her race. In her Time interview, she stated, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege." A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The league has been 100% built on them. They've had 20-something years to do something with it, and they have failed at every fucking turn. That is not the fault of a white girl who happens to be generationally good. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. I'm sorry. The league has spent 28 years elevating black women, and has managed to lose. Gosh, I can't remember what the total number was. Like I said, they've averaged about 12 million per year in losses for the entire life of the league. Maybe it's time to try something else. Maybe it's time to start elevating your star players. Does anybody know the name of like any other player in the league other than Caitlin Clark? Would you know the name of Angel Reese if it wasn't for this manufactured rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, which doesn't exist anyway? There are actually a handful of like really, really talented, excellent players. And you don't know the name of a single fucking one of them. Why? Because if you did, then all the rest of the league would be jealous because they're getting more attention, even though they're like legitimately good and all the rest of them are, about as good as a freshman or 10th grade boy basketball player, like a good 9th or 10th grade boy player. I mean, that's the hard reality of it. Maybe you should spend more time elevating your stars and figuring out how to build your brand. See, okay. I know who Cynthia Cooper is. You also knew who Candace Parker was. You knew who Cheryl Swoops was. You knew the name Diana Taurasi. Lisa Leslie. There were big names when the league was only losing $10 million a year, when the league was like not hemorrhaging $30 and $40 million a year. Rebecca Lobo. Okay. See, there were names back in the 90s and early 2000s that you knew they had stars, and people would pay attention and watch those stars. They would actually tune in for the Olympics to watch those stars. But the league started beating the stars down and started just trying to be about everybody and about the league. And now you don't know a single fucking name of anybody other than Caitlin Clark, other than Angel Reese, but only because of her connection to Caitlin Clark. Build your brand, build your star power, and learn how to actually be fucking successful. Like the WNBA and women competitively are allergic to success because they think everybody needs to be the same, except for all you get from that is everybody's the same level of suck. Rise above it. Let some stars rise above it and watch them carry the rest of the league with them. It's easy as. That'll do it for today. I will be back in the morning, and then I'm out for the rest of the week. My daughter is having finals this week, and she gets out at noon every day, so I won't be home during the day. Tomorrow will be the last one of these for the week. I'm actually going to be talking about an interesting Time article about Luigi Mangione. Actually, I don't think I'm going to do that one. I might do that as a regular episode. Sorry, that was a bad tease for something that I'm probably not actually going to do because it is a little bit long. But then again, I went long on this today, so who knows? Maybe we'll do it. That is impressive. That wait 5 months for a jersey. That's nuts, man. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, and that'll be it for the week. I will have a regular episode. I think I might actually do a live stream with a couple guys tomorrow night to talk about some video game stuff. So if you're interested in video game stuff, it's video game stuff that's along the same line as this. Like the video game industry has been really bad about thinking that they need to be catering to an audience that's not their target audience. So they're seeing massive failures across the board on a lot of games that have had a lot of money and time spent on them. And they can't figure out why they're losing money on these, big project games, except that you're making a game that nobody wants. Like, know your audience, make a game for your audience. It's easy as, kind of like build your brand with your stars. So anyway, we're going to talk about the video game industry and why it's failing. I think we'll do that live tomorrow night. So tune in for that. Be back tomorrow morning to talk about Luigi. And in the meantime, going to do Luigi and video games in the same day. Huh. coincidental. Anyway, have a good one later.